Yo, how's it going, guys? It's a brand new day. It's a brand new video. So look, man, today we have another anime Picolator video. Now, big news, tomorrow's my birthday, so wish happy birthday in the comments if you're a real one. Second thing is, today we're gonna be showing you guys the best transformations in Anime Simulator. You know, I think it's a good video. I think you guys will use this video. I think that many of you guys are questioning if like Sun God is better than like Light Fruit or something like that, because I'm gonna be honest, you know, spoilers alert, some better ones are not better. Okay, look, this video is gonna be very helpful, but before we start with anything, make sure you leave a like and subscribe for my birthday. I mean, W's in it. And with that being said, yeah, let's get right into the video. Now, I have to also say that, you know, update 2.5 part 1 will be happening during my birthday, so I won't be able to stream. However, I will be able to go ahead and give you guys a video on the update. You know, if there's something to, you know, make on the update part 1, I will make sure to make a video on that. Maybe the best way to get material, since many of you guys are probably questioning how. And yeah, you know, I'm gonna be doing that. I'm gonna make sure to make a video on that. Maybe during my birthday, we'll see how it goes if I'm not busy with family and stuff. But let's get right into the video now. So as many of you guys know, I have been slacking a little bit when it comes to training. Unfortunately, my stats ain't looking so hot, okay? But in my defense, okay, I do get kicked out quite a bit from quote unquote lagging out. Yeah, I call bull on that, okay? I know my Wi-Fi and it's not that bad to where it disconnects randomly, but we'll go ahead and call it, you know, a bad coincidence, okay? But yeah, right here we have a tier list. You know, we always like to do tier lists in this channel. Now look, tier lists are simple because I can rate them on the side. You know, I can look at the information, I can look at the abilities, all that stuff on the side, and give you guys a pretty direct direction to where it should be, whether it's the S, which is the best, or D, which is the worst. You know, I'm gonna be doing that, and I hope you find this helpful. Again, this is my opinion at the end of the day. If you disagree with one placement, I understand, but just know that it's somewhere near that area. Now, if by some reason you think that it deserves an S and I'll put it as C or something, please do let me know why. I am really curious why you guys think some are better than others, and it'll be interesting to see what you guys have to say. But with that being said, let's go ahead and rate the first one, which will start off with the weakest one. I think nobody will complain about: Chop Fruit. Okay, so for Chop Fruit right here, it says Chop Festival, Chop Boomerang, and Chop Tackle are the 3 abilities, all strength based. Now strength, if you didn't know, easiest one to get, which means that if something is strength based, you can expect it to do more damage rather than something that's, you know, obviously energy based. Now I will say for Chop Fruit, the PvE damage is what I'm going to be focusing on, since PvP damage is not yet in factor. Okay, I will be doing an exclusive abilities tier list for PvP whenever they release part 2 of update 2.5. I'll make sure to do that for you guys, but for this video we're only going to focus on the PvE aspect, because I think that's pretty much the only thing you guys care about or should care about at the moment. So Chop Festival does 56 PvE damage, 10 Chop Boomerang, and 30 Chop Tackle. All in all, is a very bad transformation. I just don't recommend you guys even have this on. Although it's strength based, it really doesn't do strength justice. So in this case, honestly, I'm gonna have to be honest and just put it at D tier. I think that it's really bad when it comes to just all in all AoE. When it comes to boss fighting, you can't really use the abilities while you're above him. So all in all, it's a really bad fruit. You should just go ahead and try to go for something a little bit better at least. Next up, we're gonna check out Spring Fruit. Spring Fruit has 3 abilities again: Spring Dash, Spring Rush, and Spring Slam. Again, they're all strength based. When it comes to PvE damage, we have 24, 52.8, and 40. Okay, now that's not that bad. Spring Rush seems to be a little bit decent when it comes to damage, but you have to also take into account that you can't use this on a boss or else you'll get killed, so it's really useless. The other 2 abilities are really no better. They're all close range abilities, so honestly this might just be worse than Chop if I'm being quite frank, because again, when you're fighting bosses, when you're fighting mobs, you want abilities that you can go ahead and shoot from a distance, or at least use above them, and that's gonna be where it counts most, even if it does less damage like it does in this case. So Spring is gonna go in D tier. Honestly, Chop is better than Spring in this case. Okay, so right now we're gonna talk about Bomb Fruit. Now Bomb Fruit has 4 abilities. The first one in Fruits to have that: Targeted Bomb, Bomb Wave, Bomb Trap, Self-Destruct. The damage goes 35, 10, 10, and 60. Now the only really good ability it has is called self-destruct. Bomb trap is not really that great. Bomb wave is really bad, and then targeted bomb is decent. But I will say that self-destruct, the 60 damage, if you're a new player, you can definitely use this to at least get the 5% on the boss, which means it's not all in all bad. I think this is still very bad when it comes to a fruit, but it's not the worst thing, especially, you know, after the nerfs for self-destruct. I think you can use this, but I don't recommend you keep it. I think all in all, I'm gonna rate this a solid C tier, because of the simple fact that you can actually use this to get 5%, and it really is really easy to get. It deserves a C tier. Next up is Fire Fruit. Fire Fruit has 5 abilities, all strength based. We have Fire Bullet, Fire Fist, Fire Pillar, Fire Emperor, and the PvE damage goes as follows: 40, 42, 47, 98. Now, if you guys don't know, Fire Fruit, in my opinion, is the best fruit in the game, because one, every ability you can really use above the boss and stay above him at all times. But also, if you get to max rank, you can honestly get a ton of damage out of the abilities, because again, all these damage are based on rank 1. All in all, I think that it's really overpowered how good the V move is, and of course the X move is. And if you combine it with the Z move, you can obviously stay above them even longer. All in all, Fire Fruit is definitely one of the top tier transformations in the game. And if I'm being quite frank, if you're a strength main, definitely main the Fire Fruit. So I'm gonna put it at S tier, because I think that honestly, if you're a new player, you know, if you don't have that much gems, or you can't get that much gems right now, I think Fire Fruit is gonna be extremely OP for you. And honestly, if you're a strength main, it's gonna be one of the MVPs when it comes to boss fighting in general. Next up is Light Fruit. Light Fruit has 4 abilities, 3 of them of which are energy based, one of them being sword based. Light Rain, Light Slash, Light Speed Combo, and Yasakani Jewel. So the wiki doesn't have any information when it comes to Light Fruit. I know how OP it is, and so Light Fruit for energy mains is really overpowered. I think that, you know, I've seen many people use Light Fruit, and I can say safely that it's one of the best fruits when it comes to energy based, but it's not as good as Fire Fruit. And if you're an energy main, you can probably have better luck with Dragon or something like that. So I would definitely just recommend you have Light Fruit if you're an energy main, but definitely don't keep it if you are going for Dragon, or if you get Dragon. But other than that, it's a really good fruit, and honestly really good transformation. Definitely a top tier one. Next up is Dragon Fruit. Now Dragon Fruit has 4 abilities: Borrow Breath, Thunderstorm, Demolition Wind, Blazing Rush. Blazing Rush, the ultimate move, is strength based, but it doesn't really do that much damage, especially to bosses. So all in all, the best abilities are going to be Borrow Breath, Thunderstorm. Those two, the Z and X move, are going to be the best ones for bosses, because you can use them above them. All in all, it's energy based, and energy is really good when it comes to the Dragon Fruit. I think the Dragon Fruit is really good, but all in all, it's not really worth it compared to Light Fruit, since Light Fruit has more abilities that you can use when you're above him, 1, and 2, you don't have to transform to such a big transformation that makes you vulnerable when it comes to the boss's AoE hits. So it's not really the best. I don't recommend you use Dragon over Light, but if you do get Dragon, make sure you keep it, because it's still very good and pretty decent. Definitely it is pretty good when it comes to farming gems. So all in all, it's better than Light Fruit, but it's not an S tier kind of fruit, if you know what I mean. So for the final fruit, we have Sun God. Now Sun God is actually the fruit that I pulled during the live stream. I got lucky enough to get it, and although I would say that it's the best fruit, I prefer Fire Fruit all in all when it comes to strength. Fruit is not that bad. I've seen better, but you know, it could be a lot better. Now we have 3 moves: Cartoon Rush, Thunderbolt, Gigantic Stomp, and God's Gun. Thunderbolt is energy based. Cartoon Rush is actually speed based, which is kind of weird. The other 2 are going to be strength based. So the 2 strongest abilities are strength based, but Gigantic Stomp makes you die from the boss. Thunderbolt is very inaccurate, and it's very small AoE. And God's Gun is very good, very big AoE, but it is a long cooldown, 1, and 2, it does make you go up. So it's a lot of drawbacks to every single one ability. And for the 0.44 chance, I prefer Fire, to be quite frank. But all in all, it's a decent fruit. Is it the best? I'll say it's up there with Flame, because honestly, I use Sun God when it comes to fighting the new boss in World 2. it's pretty decent for that at least. But yeah, I still think Fire Fruit is going to be better than Sun God, but Sun God still deserves S because of how much damage it actually does. Okay, let's go ahead and go to curses now, because curses is obviously something that many of you guys probably are wanting to know. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is obviously tell you guys Cursed Child. Now, Cursed Child is the one that you get from level 15 or tier 15 of the battle pass. You have 4 abilities, with the V move being an actual domain expansion, which, you know, is not that good, but you know what? It's not bad for what it is, okay? Now, technically, Cursed Child is a legendary transformation, which means that the damage will probably reflect that quite a bit. Now, the C move actually does 370 damage. Since I have it, and it's called Pure Love, which is basically the love beam. Okay, now the love beam is really the only move that you're gonna use when it comes to bosses, and when it also comes to just fighting mobs in general. It's one of the best moves in the game, and quite frankly, it's probably the second best move in terms of damage in the game, which goes to show that it's really OP. But sadly, it's only one move. For that one move alone, it doesn't deserve like A, but it does definitely deserve B tier. I think that it's honestly a very, very good transformation when it comes to brand new players, and I think it's pretty easy to get, because all you really have to do is just play the game every day. And so I will say this much, that, you know, although it's not bad, for only one good move, it doesn't deserve to be in an A or S tier, because every other move besides that does really little damage, and it's very bad in general. So I'm gonna be honest, it's definitely going to be B tier when it comes to PvE damage. Next up, let's talk about Vessel, which is the easiest transformation to get pretty much in terms of curses. You get 3 abilities: Piercing, Divergent Barrage, and Black Flash. You know, pretty standard stuff. And I will say that, you know, for damage wise in PvE, we have 20, 43, and 35. That's much better than the fruits, and I think many of you guys can agree that, you know, it's pretty decent in terms of, you know, rank 1 damage. Divergent Barrage obviously being the best one with 43 damage and only 18-second cooldown. It's not gonna be the greatest, but it's definitely gonna be a solid C tier. I think that's pretty fair. I mean, obviously the fruits are really bad, but when it comes to everything else that we do know, Vessel is not really gonna be the worst one. But I'm gonna put it at the top of D tier, because obviously it's better than the Chop Fruit and the Spring Fruit, but I do think that Bomb Fruit is just a little bit better when it comes to the self-destruct, right? So I think it's a little bit better. Next up is going to be Volcano. All strength abilities again. The names are Ember, Insect, Eruption, and Max Meteor. Now, all strength abilities, but the damage is actually pretty good. You know, we have 34, 73, and 73 with a lot of AoE, and honestly, one of the most flashy, I think, transformations. You even get Fire Arrow, which is pretty insane. So all in all, it's really good, and honestly, it's definitely the best in C. I think that many of you guys can agree that Volcano is pretty decent when it comes to damage all in all. Next up is Lightning. Lightning is actually 3 abilities energy, 1 ability strength. Now it goes Electric Discharge, Lightning Slam, Lightning Striker, Lightning Form. The damage goes 26, 37, 61, and then Lightning Form is just a all in all buff in terms of damage, which I think is pretty cool. Now the C move is really OP because the damage is really high. Okay, it's honestly really high. Now what I think is that it's obviously not D tier, but it's definitely going to go up in the top of C tier. I think there are some really good abilities when it comes to lightning, so I think I'm gonna put it at the bottom of B tier because you can honestly use it a lot, and if you're an energy main, lightning is gonna be really strong for you when it comes to fighting bosses and such. So definitely really good ability. Definitely a solid B tier, but it's not going to be better than Cursed Child because Cursed Child got that very overpowered love beam move. And finally, we get to the top 2 curses and one of the best combinations of powers. Now we have Infinity and Shrine. Okay, now Infinity and Shrine are both going to be S tier because they're both very overpowered when it comes to damage, and there's not many information on it, but it doesn't really matter because they're both very good. Now Infinity, you know, I have. Shrine I don't, but I did showcase everything on my other video. If you want to see them, go ahead and check it out. But basically Infinity has blue, red, purple, and Infinity with a special ultimate move, same as Shrine. Blue and red don't do that much damage, but you can use them to combine and make the ultimate move. That's really good, and honestly I think the best kind of ultimate move in the game. Okay, purple and infinity wise, infinity is really bad, but that goes for every domain expansion in the game. It might be good during PvP, which I think is what it's meant to be. It's not really good for PvE at all. Purple is a decent move. It does a decent amount of damage, but it's not really great. Okay, so all in all, infinity deserves like a top of A tier because of the ultimate though. Okay, because it has an ability that does extreme amount of damage. It deserves S tier because obviously the ultimate damage kind of gives it an edge over every other ability transformation, right? So it's definitely going to go above Fire Fruit, and Shrine is going to go above Infinity. Okay, so this is going to be the tier list. Take it all in, guys. Take it all in. And then this is what I'm going to say though, okay? Shrine is better than Infinity because although the ultimate may not be as good, I think that is definitely going to be better in terms of every other ability. Now, Shrine has, again, 4 abilities, and all of them are strength based. So strength is obviously one of the strongest ones. And then we have Cleave, Dismantle, which don't do that much damage pretty much at all. And they're not used for the ultimate, but they do decent amount of damage when you're above the boss. So that already gives them a little bit of an edge. Next up, we have Fire Arrow and Shrine. Now, Shrine does a lot of damage, much more domain expansion or even purple does, okay? And then Fire Arrow is honestly a long-range ability that has good AoE. I think that, honestly, for bosses, it does a lot of damage. And when you combine Fire Arrow and Shrine, you get that ultimate, which does a ton more damage. Now, we do actually have the PvE damage, so it's 58, 218, 351, 363, and 866 for Fire plus Shrine, which I think is extremely insane. So that's pretty much it. Every information you may need. I will say that it's a lot of information to process, guys, and I understand that I did yap a lot, but this is the best tier list that I can make for you guys. I think that it's fair, and I think nobody can complain about it. Now, again, the reason Fire Fruit is there is because it's honestly insanely OP when you're new to the game, even when you're mid through the game, even if you're at the end of the game. If you don't have that much gems to spend to try to get Sun God, Infinity, or even Shrine, it's honestly going to be your best option for boss fighting. This will change dramatically when it comes to PvP, but for PvE, this is the best tier list you'll find. I really hope you find this helpful and you got yourself a brand new tier list to make sure that you get the right abilities, the right transformations, and spend your gems wisely. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.